We are in Brussels for ETHCC, and today I'm gathered with Fiskantes from Zee Prime. Hi.
Hello, Mia.
How is the conference going for you so far?
Just first day, and my throat is already sore. I'm not used to speaking to too many people at the same time, so it's overwhelming again.
Social battery is wearing
Yeah,
out.
yeah. As an introvert, I don't really do well with big crowds, so.
So you just need to go back, recharge, and get back out.
Exactly.
How did the journey in crypto start for you?
So I used to play poker professionally for several years, 5 or 6 years, online mostly. And there was a time when they banned online poker in US, which was the greenest pastures for young professional players from Eastern Europe. So we were trying to find some new places to play online against some rich people that want to have fun. And we found some Chinese poker rooms or like Asian poker rooms that only accepted Bitcoin because it was not like legal to play for money there. So they used Bitcoin. And I learned how to use Bitcoin because I wanted to play with these Chinese whales.
What year was that?
It was like 2014.
Okay, wow.
I mean, yeah, I think my friend started earlier and I was like, yeah, I don't really trust this thing. But then I caved and I used it in 2014 for the first time. And to be honest, I hated it. I hated Bitcoin. It was just Bitcoin. It was not like crypto. There were some other things, but we only used Bitcoin back then. And I hated every part of it because I remember winning some money playing poker. Like after like a successful session, I tried to withdraw my Bitcoin and sell it, and the price dropped a lot. So I was like,
That's not
what the hell is
ideal.
this scam? Like I won money, but now I have maybe even less than I started with. Like what's this? This cannot really work. So I turned for a couple of years into a big crypto hater afterwards. I mean, I still begrudgingly used it, but I was hating on it. And yeah, also I think in 2014 price dropped as well after MTGOX. So I was like, yeah, this thing is over. I don't know why I'm even doing with this.
How long did you do that for?
Only like half a year, and then I forgot some Bitcoin on that poker room that I used to play on, and then they closed shop. And then I remember like kind of trying to log back in after like 2 years because I had like, I don't know, like 16 Bitcoin there, and everything was gone already. So
Oh, they kept it.
yeah, I mean they probably went bankrupt or I kept it or something. So yeah, this was the start. Yeah, I still played poker, but I knew that it's not very fruitful endeavor for me. I want to do something more interesting. So I kept looking for things to invest in and to like kind of get into. And then I noticed in 2016 there was a big arbitrage between some crypto exchanges, between BTCE and Bitfinex. And BTCE had like 5% discount over Bitfinex for Bitcoin. So I was like, yeah, this is easy money. I'm not sure why nobody is doing this, but I will do it. So I would deposit money on BTCE, buy Bitcoin, send it to Bitfinex, sell it to my bank account, and the whole round would be like 7 to 10 days. And I would make like 3, 4, 5% in 7 days.
Wow, okay.
And then one day I logged into BTCE, and instead of the normal like exchange website, there was this big eagle, you know, like in the message, this domain was seized by FBI. So apparently BTC was this like exchange owned by some Bulgarian criminals, and it was used to launder Bitcoin stolen from MTGOX.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's why there was constant sort of arbitrage opportunity, because many people didn't want to touch it, and these people had to divest their Bitcoin, right? So
That was interesting, yeah.
at the time, fortunately, I did not have any Bitcoin on BTCE. I just wanted to deposit there, so I was lucky that I didn't get caught there. But yeah, that exchange was gone, so that was my second experience with crypto. I'm like, oh my god, this shit is horrible. Like I only keep getting like else with it. But then I had some Bitcoin left, and I didn't know what to do with it, so I bought on Bitfinex. I bought some Monero, Litecoin, ETH, and then in 2017, like it started to go up quite high. and I started to learn more about it. I went to some meetups. There was like big OG crypto community of these crypto anarchists. And they were very ideologically driven, like down with the governments and central banks and
more like Bitcoin maxis.
Yeah. But at that point, they were not even Bitcoin maxis. They were more like anarchy maxis. They were also into Monero and privacy and all that stuff. Some of them even into Ethereum. So yeah, and then I started to learn about Ethereum, and that really piqued my interest because it was much more interesting and like flexible than just Bitcoin. So I started reading white papers and investing in all kinds of ICOs, and then it hooked me. So
you actually stayed for the tech.
Yeah.
Came for the money, stayed for the tech.
Exactly, yeah. Came for poker, and then yeah.
What on Ethereum? What did you read that kind of clicked?
I actually read the white paper. I was nerdy guy, so I was reading white papers, and I read the white paper, and it kind of made sense. And then I saw some presentations from Vitalik, and I was like, yeah, this is like, he did this like analogy that Ethereum is like Swiss Army knife, like you can do many different things with it. I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
So you're looking at Ethereum 2017 and you're like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
You're buying some different things.
Yeah, ICOs and random tokens. I'm like, wow, this is so cool, because I always wanted to invest in startups. But even when I played poker, I made some money, but I didn't have enough to actually invest like in tech. But this felt to me like I can invest in startups with pretty small amount of money at the beginning. So I can like invest like a couple of $1,000s into a token, which for me it was basically a startup, like early tech startup that can grow exponentially. So that was exciting.
What were you bullish on back then?
Oh my God! One thing I remember being bullish, and I even wrote a post on Quora about it. I found it recently, and it was so noobish, naive. But there was this project called Trust. The token was something like TRST, and they were trying to recreate this local community driven credit markets. Like there are some communities in like India or like Middle East where they lend money to each other among neighbors and the community, and there are some people like the religious leaders or like rabbis who are kind of making sure that everyone pays everyone else, and it's kind of decentralized credit market, and it works because of these strong community ties. And these guys wanted to create a infrastructure like with smart contracts that would allow many people to kind of build the same sort of dynamics. These are community credit markets, like outside of the traditional system. And it actually is, even today when I talk about it, I guess it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And these founders were like people from Google, and like kind of it looked like pretty good. Even I think Vitalik was either advisor or investor, I'm not sure. So I was like, wow, I got some bullish on this, so I bought a lot of this TRST token, and yeah, of course it like
what happened to it?
I think it just like failed to gain. I'm not sure if it was a complete rag, like these people just took money and then pretended they are building something and they left, or they just like honestly tried and just didn't find the product market fit, but it just failed. The token went down, and yeah.
What was a good bet back then?
What was a good bet? Oh my God. I remember I made a lot of money on Neo. Okay. It's Unshares. It used to be the original name. This like Chinese Ethereum, and then they had like two tokens. One was Neo and the other was I forgot, but there was usually like one token moved up fast and then the other would catch up. So there was this like sort of partial relative arbitrage. So I was doing that. Yeah, I think I made like I invested in a lot of ICOs and some of them went really well. But I would say my most successful bet or investment back then was still Ethereum at like $5 or something. Yeah. I was also mining it in my room. Like it was. You're mining it. Yeah, I was like I tried to save as much money to invest as possible, so I just like lived in like some room. Mm-hmm. And during winter was super cool because the miner would heat up your room, right? But in the summer it was much less fun. Yeah.
How did you figure out like the cycles of when to buy, when to sell? Like you were in poker and then you get into this industry. Like how did you pick up
I mean, it's quite different. There are very these are very different industries. They have many things in common, but at the same time, in poker, like every session you play, it's like a new day, new session, clean slate. So it's more like intraday trading. So I open my account, I start playing, I make some mistakes, I click buttons, I find people who lose money, and I like chase them. Yeah, actually, you just like you can identify people you play against. You can give them some colors. You can write notes about them. Then you can chase them, right? And next time you log into your poker account, you just find, oh, this guy is playing, I like him, he always bluffs, I'm gonna just like call him down. So this is much easier in poker. And in crypto, I guess you can also be like intraday trading, but you never know who your counterparty is. I mean, you can maybe figure it out on chain, but it's harder. And I didn't want to sit on my ass for 6 hours and click buttons like I used to playing poker, because that, for me, that was like, I didn't even like it too much. It was more like a job. Like I had 2 big screens, and I would play 10 to 12 games at the same time, just clicking buttons super fast, making decisions. And at this point I was like, no, I want to be like more like quotes long-term investor, even though, not like 10 years or something, but like, okay, I want to, ideally my positions, my bets will be at least like half a year, 6 months, or like 12 months, or even up to 2 years. That was my ideal. Like, so I was trying to transition into that, and obviously like some things would pump and dump super fast, so I would try to adjust. But I think the biggest thing that helped me or 2 things that translate from poker very well are like resilience towards volatility and variance, because sometimes even if you play well, like you play your good game, you just get bad cards, and the guy that you play against can be like some drunken grandpa, and he doesn't know anything, but he just gets super good cards all the time. Yeah. It can happen, right? So you can make good decisions and lose money, and you can make bad decisions and make money. And people sometimes don't know the difference. So this is what was really helpful. Also the mental resilience, that just because I'm losing money now, it doesn't mean I made bad decisions. Yeah, and then the next thing is just like risk reward, like how much am I risking and how much can I win? It's much easier to calculate in poker because you have fixed odds. Like there are 52 cards, there are 4 colors, everything, all the situations on the board you can calculate with some precision, like what are your chances of winning, at least like approximately. In crypto, the rules are changing every day. It's like new game every day. Every day is new projects, like new metas, new everything. And you cannot really calculate it so precisely, but you still can maybe make some reasonable assumptions about your upside, potential risk, and how to distribute that risk. So these 2 things, I think, were the key to what I took away from poker and used it in crypto.
You started by not liking crypto so much. What year did you actually like really like it?
Actually in 2017, because I was at the point of my life when I knew that I don't want to play poker anymore. I had some money. I tried some investments in like real businesses outside of digital world, which I would say all of them went downhill. Like I was not really experienced investor. I invested in some company that was importing cheese, and on paper it was really good business because you buy this young cheese like Gouda, which ages. When the Gouda is like 1 month old, it's cheap, and then when you let it age for like 12 months, it gets like more expensive because it's like more tasty and like more rare. So these guys would just buy young cheese. They would have facilities to age it, and then they would sell it with a large markup to like some gourmet shops. And on paper, the business looked amazing, but yeah, in reality, like dealing with food and perishables and like food that needs to be like kept in some place, in some temperature, it's like, it was horrible. So I lost a lot of money on that. And I always wanted to invest, but I just wanted to find my niche. And then I was also dabbling with virtual reality a bit. There was a little hype in 2016. Yeah. But then when I got back to crypto and I did this like little arbitrage thing, and I started to read about ICOs and read all the white papers and like watching these presentations, I was like, okay, wow, this is actually something I can fully invest in, because I don't have to, with my small capital, I don't have to risk too big portion of it in one project. I can spread my risk and like diversify and find. I just need to find one project that gives me like I don't know, like 50x upside. I don't need to have a lot of winners. I just need 50. I mean, we had more than 50 over the years. So, but yeah, 50x was like, if this can make 50x, that's a good asymmetric bet.
Yeah.
And it was possible. I mean, it's more like, it's closer to venture investing than to like trading or stock markets. But yeah, I would say in crypto is actually combination. That's another thing that really excites me about crypto, because I'm still partially a degen and like a poker player and trader, so I want the action. Whereas traditional venture capitalists, they just like invest in a project and they sit on their hands for like 8 years. So I like this combination of like having both. Like you can invest very early into something that can be very big in the future and grow exponentially, and you can have this exponential upside, an asymmetric upside. But you can also play this like game where you are trying to buy and sell and figure out what's next on the market. So I would compare it to like mixed martial arts, you know, like you have boxers and then you have people who wrestle and grapple on the ground. And if you combine it together, like you have some new game, you have some like new dynamic. And I think crypto is this. Like many people are doing only one thing. There are pure traders who only trade short-term narratives and whatever, meme coins, and then there are VCs who invest long-term, and I like this combination of both. Maybe I'm not like best at any of these things, but the combination makes it.
No, you're definitely good, obviously. Yeah, you do come across like someone that does like a mixed martial arts in the space. Yeah, for sure. So fast forward 10 years, because you started 10 years ago.
Yes.
Today, how do you feel about the industry?
Oh, to be completely honest, some of this early ideological excitement I had when I was getting into it in 2017, it kind of left me a bit. It's not like completely gone, but I remember being much more like excited about like disrupting the governments and central banks and all these narratives that crypto OGs were presenting, and I'm still there like mentally, but at the same time I've seen so many of these promises fail and so many other things that have nothing to do with this to succeed, and I'm around for so long that I became a bit more realistic about everything, but also maybe a bit more jaded. Like I try to be very objective about it, but when you spend like too much time on especially on crypto Twitter, you see everyone just being excited about like meme coins, which are like great fun, and like it's nice to have them, but if everyone is saying like, oh, this is all that crypto is about, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of boring. That's like I wouldn't say that's even true, but like it's kind of boring. So at this point I'm trying to kind of step back and turn more long term, because I think that many people just overestimated how long, or they underestimated how long it will take for crypto to become something that's like widely used.
You know, that's a common thing I've been hearing recently. A lot of people that have been in the industry for a while it's like they're no longer, because we've seen these moments where obviously like, you know, that something is kind of like, you know, just for the money. It's not really there for the long term, but people were still okay with it. They thought it was fun and they would still play along. Now what I've been hearing is that they don't want to play along with that. They don't want to entertain that, and they're more focused. They're more less tolerant with things like that. Do you align with that?
A little bit. I still like to play the game sometimes. I guess one other thing that's maybe a bit disappointing is that for me, even when I already started like using crypto more in 2017 and then like 2019 and 20 with DeFi, I was like, this is obviously better UX than traditional financial system, where if I want to buy some stocks, I need to open an account with this broker, and it's kind of confusing, and it's like a lot of barriers of entry. When I want to send money to India, you know, I need to wire a transfer that takes like a couple of weeks to settle. I need to pay $50, and sometimes the bank will like block the transaction and ask me what is the reason of this transaction. I need to explain to them like this is my money, I want to send it to someone in India, and I need to ask you to allow it. So I always in my head was like, this is so obvious that we are going like to disrupt all of this, and maybe I'm just a bit like bummed that it takes longer. I mean, maybe I'm just not patient enough. it takes a bit longer than I would like.
Yeah.
I would like to already be in the world where it's like ubiquitous, and I can just like scan QR codes and send crypto anywhere, and everybody uses it, and it's not something that, oh, I got this crypto token, now I need to go to Binance or somewhere, switch it for fiat, send it to my bank account so I can pay my service providers or something like that, right? I want crypto to be the thing that people use directly, and we are not there. And I'm like, yeah, can we get there already? Can we just stop like just trading meme coins and like get there?
I think like within the industry, there's some companies and some people that are already there, like in terms of like interacting with each other. Like if most of your business and your circle of friends is inside it, it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, it's great with my friends. Like whenever I owe money to some of my friends or vice versa, we just settle in crypto. You just send me SOL or USDC here, and it's like super fast.
And like the irony with the banks is the more you use crypto, the more they block you, the more you hate it.
There is this big retailer that accepts crypto. There is some like service provider that enables them to accept crypto. And I was furbishing my apartment, and I used this retailer for everything I could, even though maybe they didn't have the best prices, sometimes they were more expensive, but it was so convenient for me to not have to like withdraw to my bank account. So I was like, I'm gonna use this retailer for everything I can to give them my feedback with my money, that I'm gonna spend a lot of money if you accept crypto.
Yeah, that's good. Incentivizing the market. Well, what's your narrative? Like, what do you think is gonna happen? What are you bullish on?
What's my narrative? I mean, I don't like the word narrative because it's
not the best word, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, like people push narratives to pump their backs, and sometimes it's very
what's your vision?
Fake. My vision. Okay, that's better. I still think that crypto is mostly a financial network, and I think that there is this like Gartner hype cycle chart when the things are unknown, then they are super hyped, over the top hyped, and then they like everybody gets disappointed. So I would say like something like stablecoins is already like in that productive phase where it went through its hype cycle, and now we are seeing some real adoption around the world. I kind of changed my mind on this. I was kind of bearish on stablecoins in a sense that it is still a representation of government money on chain, and the government has the ultimate power. And I also thought it's a huge risk for the industry if US government will not like what we do with the dollar, like tokenize it and stuff, they can just shut it down, or it can be really bad. And I always thought we need to create our own like economic units of account. And I still kind of think that that's a risk, but at this point, much less so. I was like, dollar is still a government currency, but like they don't have any incentive to shut it down, because dollar will, like thanks to stablecoins and blockchain, dollar can like become stronger in countries that it was not previously, because people will be able to use it permissionlessly. And so there is this narrative in the world about de-dollarization, like countries are stopping using dollar. I would say that this can be a re-dollarization. So I'm kind of like bullish on that, bullish on payments, and then like the applications in crypto, at least at this point, most of them are inevitably speculative. Like they need to have some element of people risking money or like trying to win money for something. I'm quite bullish on, for example, prediction markets. There's actually one thing that I was always bullish on as a poker player. I always like to bet, and I remember I bet on Trump winning the elections in 2016 when the odds on Trump were like 16%. So I was like, this is like underpriced, because it was just like Betfair was this like sort of betting exchange, was like betting bookie, and they used like election polls to like figure out what the percentages are, and the polls were only conducted in big cities, not in the small ones. So in big cities, like Democrats were always more popular. But I was like, I don't think Trump is only 16% against Hillary. I would say it's at least 30, right? So I have some upside if I'm correct. So I bet on Trump. I fell asleep because I'm in Europe. Elections were in US, so I couldn't stay up all night. I woke up and I won. So I was like, wow, that's cool. So then I started to when I was in crypto, I was super bullish on like Augur and Gnosis prediction market, and I was like, yeah, this is the thing that crypto will enable. And 10 years later, there actually is Polymarket, which is it is kind of a Web2 experience. It's not really like extremely crypto native. It uses crypto in the background, but I think they do it right. They were able to capture a lot of attention, from mainstream media. So that's one thing where I was like, for longest time, I was like, it's so obvious that we will have prediction markets, but nobody is really like building it, or nobody is doing it right. And Polymarket seems to be the thing.
For everyone watching, where can they find you?
In Brussels now, but in general on Twitter, Fiskantes is my Twitter handle, and on Telegram as well. So DM's open.
Fiskantes, thank you.
Cheers.
Hey, what's up?
But it's not something Genzio is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a
How
hive.
many know we do not understand that we do not want?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Get back at the Genzio Media House.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us today.